Good morning. Welcome to day 112, Thursday, July 30th, 2026. Been going for about an hour. It is so wide open up here. Pretty cool. So, taking my first break, gonna have a Cliff Bar. I still have a lot of water from the cache I'm not gonna waste, so just gonna keep hydrating and loading up. Doesn't look as cloudy today at the moment, so it might be a scorcher. We'll see. You never know what's going to happen up here. The clouds could roll in, it could rain. Um, it didn't get too windy at my tent site, which was nice because it was very exposed. So the mileage is working out well again today for water. At the very end of the day, about 20 miles in, there should be a spring. It's not the easiest water to collect, but it's definitely doable. So that's where I plan to get water for the night. Maybe even just stop there or go a little further. We'll see. That's the update. Check in a bit. It's 7:30. Just passed by the A&M Reservoir. Looks like it was built like 20, 30 years ago. I did see a couple people there off in the distance breaking down camp. I'm assuming it's trash lobster and snakefoot, but at some point, whoever they are will probably pass me and we'll see. Okay, it's 8 o'clock, about to take another break. This is a really nice water source. I don't need water right now, but that's lovely. I'm sure the cows appreciate it. So at that water source, someone must have dropped this. So I'm treating myself to a little raspberry lemonade with my second Cliff Bar of the morning. There's going to be another water source in a few miles, so the water I'm carrying I'm trying to finish because at some point it's going to warm up and not be pleasant to drink anyway. So I'm downing a lot of water. I just went through a pretty sandy section of trail, so I'm going to take a break a tiny bit earlier than planned, just to get all the grit out of my trail runners. Have about 5 miles to a pipe spring, and I've got almost 1.5 liters of water, so I'm going to make some Gatorade. And then about halfway through, I'll finish the rest of what's in my smart water so I can load up on fresh, hopefully cold water at the piped spring. I see trash lobster was down on the road there. Um, there's a million ways to reconnect with the trail here, so I'm sure he's doing a little exploration. But I thought he'd be a lot further ahead as well. And I did see a tent out in the sagebrush that might be snakefoot. It looked like a similar tent to what I saw the other day. And he always gets a late start, I guess, according to Trash Lobster. So that doesn't explain the two people I saw at the reservoir. Who knows who they were? All right, so Trash Lobster has all the intel. The two people I saw at the reservoir, they were bike packers. So that explains why I couldn't figure out who they were, or I didn't see any cars. So there you go, bike packers. So that means Snakefoot is still behind me. I'm sure he'll pass me at some point. But yeah, it's like not oppressively hot yet. The water I'm carrying is still like a little cooler than room temperature, which is nice. So see how much longer that lasts. There's no cloud cover and the sun is just baking. Okay, it's about 10:15. Just to give a little perspective, if you can see off in the distance, there's someone hiking out there. That's Trash Lobster, probably a half mile to a mile, somewhere in there ahead of me. A little after 10:30, have about 2 miles to the pipe spring. I'd say the rest of the water I have is starting to get a little warmer than room temperature, so I'm gonna finish this off here. And then, yeah, refill at the spring. So I'll have a little something to eat, just air out the feet. I'm gonna put on another layer of sunscreen and lip balm. I think the sun's really getting through in the haze here, so don't want to burn up either. There's a little breeze I've been fighting for a while, but it feels good to have a breeze. And yeah, pleasant day on the trail. All right, we're currently at mile 1687. So I'm not quite sure what this is all about. Maybe from a few years ago, there was some reroute up here, but I thought I had gone a little further than 1600, but it's always nice to see a little rock memento marker or sticks, whatever. So there you go. So this peak has been pretty prominent for a while now. I was curious what it is. It's Crook's Peak, 7,600 feet. Got some wild horses behind us as we're filtering water here. All right, it's 3:15. I've loaded up on some water. Gonna go a bit further. So I've been scoping out campsites. Most of these trees are like, we're finally seeing some trees, which is nice. Most of them have a bunch of sage brush under them. This one doesn't. It's a little slanty, but for the shade, I think it's worth it. Otherwise, I have to camp out in the open air where my backpack is. So I'd rather have a little wind protection and even more importantly, the shade. So even if I'm a little, leaning to the right, I think it's worth it. So I'm gonna go for it. It's almost 4 o'clock. I think it's another 20 plus mile day. So if I keep going, I don't think I'm gonna see anything better anytime soon. There is something about a half mile where there's like a wash that's very flat and protection from the wind, but if it rains, that's not a great place to be in a wash. So I think I'd rather just squeeze in under that tree. You can see it doesn't look like much from here, and I looked at all the other trees that are around and there's just too much vegetation under them to even think about setting up a tent. But that spot looked pretty good, so it'll be nice to have shade in the basin. It's worth it. As I'm walking back to my backpack. Yeah, so the water at that spring that I just collected at wasn't the easiest to collect. I had to use my trowel, go up quite a bit. But it's water and it's good. So no complaints there. Glad to have water I didn't have to carry too far to camp. So I think the next really good water source is another water cache. And that'll probably be in the afternoon tomorrow. So we're gonna be heading that way along the road tomorrow. They're right on my there. All right, quick recap. Did 20 and a half miles. We're at about 7,200 feet and change. It was a hot one today. I'm glad I had that extra water in the morning. The water sources were spread out pretty well. This last water source was a bit tough to collect, but it's good water. and I'm going to be enjoying that shortly. So overall, good day on the trail. Being able to squeeze into this little site under a tree has been fantastic. It makes such a difference when you have shade in the tent. So I'm really enjoying that. I may or may not eat a hot meal tonight. I still have a few wraps left over, depending on how hungry I am. We'll see. But I'm going to keep hydrating. Just enjoy the rest of the evening and relax. And we'll see you in the morning.
Good evening. Back up at Sugar Hill again for another mini sewing retreat, quilting retreat. I'm working on my quilt. It's right back there, sewing curves, and I'll show you what everyone else is working on. Lori, who was here at the last retreat, she's working on this baby quilt just to have ready to go. And then Chelsea, wave, hi Chelsea, is working on this beautiful masterpiece here that she got all laid out, and her goal is to have that sewn up before she goes to bed. And it's already 9:30, so I'm going to bed now. But when I wake up, I expect it to all be finished.